Alright guys, I'm about to start up, just trying to get this TikTok stream going as well. Welcome everybody, welcome to this figuring out what this exactly is. It finally came off. came in, and it seems like it really came off a trailer, and I'm going to show you exactly why. But first, let me talk about NVIDIA real quick, because apparently there's this big rumor that they're supposed to have some NVIDIA 50 series coming in soon and more for restock, but I find it really hard to believe. And NVIDIA has been talking about their numbers recently, about how that they outsold AMD, which I feel personally is a bit ridiculous. But we got this box from Newegg, and once you see how this box looks like, it looks good right now, but once you see how this box looks like, you gotta let me know exactly what you think of it, because I don't know if it's going to be in the greatest condition, you can say. So let me just show you how it looks like, how it came in. Let me show you. I want to show you a very specific side. Okay, first I'll show you this. You see that tape right there? How they kind of bandaged it there? It's pretty crazy. So when they said it missed the trailer, more than likely, from what it looks like, it fell off the truck. Now, it looks like they taped it to try to fix like whatever damage. Hopefully they didn't run anything over. So when we open this up, hopefully there is no damage to the GPU. Now, wait till you take a look at this side here. Take a look at that damage right there. It definitely looked like it dragged on the ground for a little bit, right? It seems like it, because they kind of taped it right here, and they taped it right there. Yeah, hopefully it's an ASRock Legend, but I kind of just went into Newegg, kind of picked whatever I could at the time, and hopefully we'll see what it is, because it's going to be pretty insane. Yeah, tell me about it. What's up, David? It's good to see you. And it looks like they almost like either it really fell off the trailer and they ran it over, or like dragged it on the ground, because if you look at the marks here, it looks like it kind of just went like this, right? Right when it was delivered, which is terrible. But it's I'm really excited to open this up. Originally it was supposed to come in yesterday. It was supposed to come in on a Wednesday. There's supposed to actually be more packages coming in, and hopefully that they do, because I definitely want to share more packages with you guys and more openings. And for everyone that's just joining in or not familiar with who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. I'm a PC and tech enthusiast. Hopefully you're enjoying the channel or the stream so far. If you are, make sure to give it a thumbs up and be part of the wonderful fan band. And it's good that David's here. It's good that AI Mitch is here. I think Rex might have entered. I'm not sure. But there is a giveaway that I am currently doing. And it is on my most current video, which is on the B850. If you go there, you can sign up for the giveaway. What I'm giving out is a Samsung Pro 990, 1 terabyte with the heatsink. I have one of those, and I will be giving away three merchandise, which is these t-shirts right here. I'm going to give out 3 of them. And just make sure you join the free giveaway to get your chance to be able to win something. Now, this giveaway, it has about, I think it's a little bit over 3 weeks, so you definitely have time. Make sure you join it, because I want to personally thank everybody for being part of this channel. Now, the good thing is, at least I feel confident about the bottom side, because at least that's not ripped. And if I shake it, how's that sound? It sounds pretty solid in there, right? Because sometimes Newegg, you gotta admit, sometimes Newegg doesn't do the best when it comes to packaging. And hopefully this time that they did, because especially that they're sending a GPU. And I don't think they can just simply replace a GPU if there is a problem with this package. And it's on stream now, so it's definitely not going to be anyone's fault but UPS's fault for delivering this mess right here. Okay, so I know you guys are more than excited to see what's inside of this box. I am too, because once we open this box, I will also unbox the GPU box, of course, and we can take a look at that beauty. So let me get my knife here. You ready? So let me open it this way here. So it's on your side. Hey, what's up, A-Bagger? Welcome back. It's good to see you. I'm just opening up the box. You see this? This almost fell off when I took off the box. It's pretty hilarious, right? And it says, inside Newegg's box here, it says, awesome is here. Let's see if it's really awesome. They actually packed it really well. So even if it comes in like this, even if it got ran over by the UPS truck, at least they airbagged it okay. So they definitely have enough cushion in there, because there's been times where they sent me something where it's just hanging in there. What's up, gamer boy? Welcome to this stream. Hopefully you're enjoying it so far. I haven't gotten to the GPU yet, but it's full of airbags, as you see, so I definitely can't see it yet, which I will take out. Now, sometimes you probably get some packages where they just threw a whole bundle in there. They weren't playing when they packaged this. Not gonna look down yet. They didn't even bother ripping it apart. It's a good thing, because most of the time when you pull these airbags apart, they tend to deflate. And they still got plenty of air in them, so it was cushioned pretty well. But on the bottom end, right here, there's not really any cushion, so it kind of concerns me a bit, but at least it wasn't torn open like the top was. And usually when Newegg packs something, they'll just give you one of these and that's it, and then it'll just kind of flop around in there, but it's a good thing that it didn't. All right, so you guys are gonna see it with me. Not looking yet. So we're gonna take this out. Can you see what it is? Let's see. It's hard to see from the camera side of things. All right. It looks like it was upside down. And it looks like it's the Sapphire Nitro. This is actually a really good model. A really decent model. This is the 9070 XT. And this is the model where it has the different plates and everything that you can switch out. But we'll see. We'll open it up to see what it looks like in there. The box looks okay. You don't like it, gamer boy? You don't like this one? But we'll see. We'll see how it looks. The color looks pretty nice. It's the Nitro Plus, so it's definitely this one's the overclocked one. Hopefully you guys can see that there. That's what this badge says. So let's open this up. And for everybody that's just joining in, this was what was inside the box, but I will unbox it to show you what this does feature. For anybody that's the boost clock on this, I have to look it up actually on this one, because it's all going to vary. I think usually usually the 9070 XTs, they're about 2.8, if I'm not mistaken. It's very close to 3 gigahertz. And this model might be, but I just have to make sure. But I'll open it up and I'll definitely show you. The Sapphire Nitro Plus is my favorite GPU. I bought it last week. Oh, you got the ASUS TUF 7900 XTX. So A-Bagger, you probably got the experience Monster Hunter, right? Monster Hunter Wilds, because that actually comes with it. Unfortunately, when you get the 9070, it doesn't. And for those who are wondering if I got this as a gift or anything like that, or if Newegg gave it to me, they didn't. I just randomly picked whatever I had. I didn't really look. I just purchased it. And this will definitely be 100% unbiased, as all my other reviews, I definitely try to look for the best when it comes to PC hardware. So I'm sure you guys want to see what's inside here. Let's see. Okay, so they got this little sticker on the side to let you guys know. So when you open it up here, try not to destroy the sticker too much, because I know everyone's guilty of it, that when you get something that you're not sure of and you want to send it back, you want to make sure that you are able to seal it. All right, you ready? Another box. Isn't that funny? Talk about a deluxe case here. This is secure. So anytime you see two boxes just like this, when it's shipped out, it's pretty cool how you can hide the, like, yeah, I think it is too. That's pretty amazing. I really like the design and the thought process when it comes from Sapphire. I love all their GPUs, and they're always one of the GPUs I recommend. Same thing with XFX. They're really good as well. They're an excellent brand. I like them a lot as well. ASUS is good too, and I know the ASRock is excellent. It's actually one of the most silent RX 9070s you can get out there. And it looks like almost like a shoebox, or like, you know, like almost, actually it's more like a motherboard, like when you open them up, because just like when you flip it up and you can see the motherboard, it's almost like that kind of display that they're giving you instead of just pulling it out the box like most GPUs, and then you just see the GPU. But this is even more, this is quite the display. Woo! Take a look at this. I gotta be really careful because I don't want to drop this. Well, on the top of it, it comes with these cards here, or these help manuals. I know nobody looks at them. It's cool to carry around with you every once in a while, just to take a look, just to remind yourself how cool of a GPU that you got. And wow, they actually box it really good. And I'm trying to be really careful at the same time. You guys can see that okay? As I'm gonna shine it right there in the light for you guys so you guys can really see it. And this is actually the back plate. And you see this? They actually have a cover. So Rex says, my old RX 470 and 6800 XT were both Sapphire. They're really solid in my book, 100%. They do not break down for anything. And they will hold up over time without any type of issue. The only ones that I've really seen failed were more of, I actually had a ASUS one that failed on me before in the past. I think it was an ASUS one, and I also had there was another one too. But once it comes to my mind, I will definitely let you guys know. This is the backplate envelope, actually. It's not even the GPU. How about that? And I thought that was the GPU, that they just covered it. But it's actually just the backplate itself. And they kind of give you this envelope with it. It's pretty nice. It's almost like a dark gray color here. More like a charcoal color, more than anything. You guys see that? So it has that nice swappable plate that you can throw on there. And they give you this nice little envelope if you don't want to use another backplate, and you can just slide it in here and put it somewhere where it's out of your way. It's a premium design here because they even have the little nice sapphire on the back of it, on the back of this envelope here. You got that nice little Nitro Plus logo. Now I think we're actually going to unveil the GPU. All right, get ready for this. Yep, I think that's it. Now this is the GPU. Of course, it's going to be hard to see with the plastic cover on there, but they kind of organize everything very well here, because when you take a look at this, hey, hopefully the GPU doesn't fall out. But which card are you coming from? Actually, this is going to another build. Currently, I have an RTX 4090, and that's into, this is the one I'm actually streaming from right now, is the one with the RTX 4090. And the new build is going to be with the 9070 XT, the one that we're doing more of the budget build. This will actually go into the B850 Gaming Plus motherboard, the ASUS one. So make sure you guys stay tuned around for that build, because it's going to be quite the monster. Even though it doesn't really cost that much to build it, I bet it's going to be very comparable next to the gaming PC that I currently have, which is the 9800 X3D, and it also has the RTX 4090. If you want to check out that video, I do have it in my YouTube channel, where I actually have the review of the build, and I also have the step-by-step guide on that build as well. And right here is the actual GPU, but first we got to go to the accessories, because we got to see what's in there. I really like how they organize it, that they just don't stuff it right under the GPU, because that can be quite the pain, especially when you want to close up these boxes and you're not sure where it is. But Sapphire really puts a lot of thought process when it comes to their GPUs. I really love how they did this, because now everything is nice and organized. You know, when you first open it, you got the backplate right there on the top. You have the GPU that sits in right here. And now you have the accessories that sit here on the bottom. Thank you, Rex. Here it is. Let's see what kind of stuff that they give you here. So the accessories that they give you is they give you a GPU bracket. So definitely recommend starting to really use these. Back then you didn't really need a GPU bracket as much, but now it's a lot more of a better way to install a bracket, because this will secure your GPU even more and prevent it from any type of, your PC doesn't really move like that. But in case if you bump into it or something like that, this will certainly help it. This brace will help it from vibrating, or kind of, you could risk losing it into, or damaging it into the slot, which I've seen before. And unfortunately, I had this PC where I have actually a YouTube video on this where it came in destroyed, and I actually had to rebuild it, because it was a 12600. I think it was just a 12600. I don't think it was the 12600K. Oh, it was. It was the 12600KF, and that came in, and it was destroyed. I had to replace, I think it was the motherboard. I had to replace quite a few parts in there. I think I had to replace the coolers in it, and I think I had to replace the GPU because it was all damaged. The gold fingers were all damaged on the actual GPU for the PCI Express slot. It was a mess. And I tried to contact UPS about it, because just like this, it came in looking just like this, but except that there was barely anything really to cover it. There was barely any type of airbags or any type of bubble wraps for that GPU, for that PC to travel safely. Especially, I think it was coming from Virginia, and it came damaged. And if you're not familiar with the geography of the U.S., I'm in Florida, and Virginia is about, I would say like about 1,500 miles away from here, or about closer, but if in kilometers, it's more like probably like about, I think it's like what, 2,800 kilometers? No, it's less. It's less than that. What am I saying? But yeah, so it came with the brackets, and it also comes with these accessories here, which is, it looks like a ARGB type of cable, an extended cable that you could hook up to your GPU. And they give you, this one's, that's interesting. This one is actually the 12 volt high power port, because you see how they have that adapter there. So for those who aren't fans of the newer style type of ATX 3.1s or the ATX 3s, to where they use the newer style 12-volt high power ports. This is what this one uses. But I'm a bit curious because once we take a closer look at this, we'll see exactly how the port looks like, if it's just this or if it has another option. But I'm assuming it's just going to be this because they do give you these adapters here. So now we'll finally get to the GPU here. Now, funny enough, they should give this sticker. Oh, it's pretty hefty actually. It's a lot bigger than I thought. Definitely a lot bigger. You see that guy right there? That's what the sticker they should have put on top of the box, not inside of the GPU. Because you got a guide where it says, be careful carrying. It looks like it's actually a PC he's carrying, not a box. And it's telling you to avoid any shaking or excessive movements, which we kind of just went over. So yeah, you don't want to do that to a PC. So you ready? Take it out of its plastic here. Ooh, it is beautiful. It is gorgeous. That's how it looks. I love the color of it. And you can see the heatsink right here in the back. The fans look like they're about 120 millimeter fans here. Has that gorgeous heatsink in the back here. A really nice design. I really like the fins on the side here. You see how it has the Radeon? Let me flip it this way. You see how it's the Radeon right here? I really like that. I dig this one. And on the back here, it does have two HDMI 2.1 ports, and it looks like DisplayPort. It does give you two, so you can definitely plug in. You could have a multi-monitor setup with no issue. It is quite amazing. I love the detail in it, because even with the, if you take a look right in the middle, has the nice sapphire look where it has that sticker. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's everything that's in that box. Just making sure. And the funny thing is, you won't see where the 12-volt high power port is, and it looks like, let's see. I'm curious about how this back plate is, because I wonder if it just, how it looks magnetized. Because on the back of here, if you look close enough, it looks like you have these like metal studs here, or these like metal round beams. Yeah, I really like it. It's very modern looking. It doesn't look overly flashy, because some, you gotta admit, some GPUs out there just look gaudy. Like personally, I feel like the MSI Trio looks a little bit too crazy, like when it comes to the RTX 50 series, and it looks too, sometimes I feel that when it has too many RGBs, it kind of really kills the look of it. But it looks like a magnet. And I think it just sticks onto the back of it if you choose to use it. Oh, on the bottom of here, and I'll definitely make a closer up video of this, a more detailed video if you guys can't see it. But over here in the bottom, it looks like it has a RGB ports. That's where you would plug it in if you want it to. So you can actually keep them completely off. You don't even have to plug them in. So if you don't like to have too much ARGBs, you definitely have that option. And inside of there, it's actually the 12-volt high power port. It's so hidden, I gotta really go up close with the camera. Yes, I think you're right, Rex. I think the purpose of the backplate is to hide the cables. And in fact, let's get to the backplate, and we can demonstrate how it magnetizes onto the GPU. Because now I'm pulling out the backplate here. Now it looks like, you see how you have these fins? You can tell that's for the heatsink side, and also for the cables, because again, they give you the room to hide the cables, because you can see how deep the heatsink is in there. And then once you put the backplate on there, again, you still have the room right here to put the cables together. So once you put this back plate on, which should be nice and simple, just like that. Really easy to stick on. And you can see the design right here. You can see the gap. Just like what Rex mentioned, the cables would go right here. Or you can even put it, I wouldn't put it through here, but definitely go through here if you want to have like a stealthy look. Because that's actually nice. Because most GPUs, when you have them, they're always sitting. For some reason, they decide to put the ports right here into the onto the top of the card, and then once you plug it in, it just, you have that cable there where it always sticks out and you see it in the case. But this is quite amazing how they design it. Are you going to have to use the adapter, or does the PSU got it native? Hopefully the PSU that I do get will be native, but I will see, because I'm supposed to be getting a PSU. Worst case, if I really have to go get a PSU from Micro Center, I'll definitely take you guys again on a Micro Center trip. I guarantee you, if we go out there in the morning, because I just love it for entertainment purposes, just going out there like around 9:30 in the morning right before it opens, and just see the people that are standing outside the Micro Center on a Saturday, because they certainly will be there. Just like there was a group of guys there when I went to Micro Center for that day, and they waited all night to try to get this RTX 50 series, but they didn't end up getting it, and they seemed like they were scalpers, except for one guy. One guy seemed like he was just there, just trying to get a RTX 50 series. But the backplate's really simple to really stick on here, and I'll definitely... What's up, Strategy Swift? Welcome. I hope you are enjoying this stream so far, or if you're just coming in. I am Chris Mizo. I am a PC and tech enthusiast. We're just going over the 9070 XT, and what I received inside of the box is the Sapphire Nitro Plus RX 9070 XT. And it's quite the build and quite the design. And you can take a look of how it looks. Again, ARGBs are optional. You can choose not to plug them in on this type of GPU, because typically when you do get a GPU, they don't really give you a port for it. Once you plug it into the PCI Express bus, the ARGBs automatically come on. But not everybody's going to like that or need that. And this GPU definitely gives you that option of not turning on ARGBs if you want. You don't even have to plug it in, because they give you two ports. They give you, let me take off the backplate. This is the cool part here. Strategy Swift, if you didn't see it, you take the backplate off, and here you can actually manage the cables. And inside, I know it's hard to see because it's quite the distance, but inside of here, you could actually plug in either your ARGB cable, or you can also plug in your high power port here, your 12 volt high power port. This one specifically has that design. Now, hopefully the PSU that we get has it native. If it does, then we can just use the cable directly into this graphics card. Now, the good thing about the RX 9070 XT, it's very comparable, and it's a very close comparison to the RTX 5080 even. It's even bypassed the RTX 4080 Super in some of the tests here, and it even was able to surpass a RTX 4090D. I have to throw the D in there because it is a different version of RTX 4090, which is China's model of the RTX 4090, which is less powerful than the original RTX 4090. Now, if you're wondering about the boost clock, as I mentioned, someone asked earlier about it, it's over 2.8 gigahertz of boost clock here. And usually, I think that's going to be across the board with all the RX 9070 XTs. And for the, I think for the regular clock, it's closer to about 2.2 or 2.3. It's something like that. Can't remember right off the top of my head. But if you're wondering about the VRAM, it is a G6. It's 16 gigabytes of G6. And it's running on a 256-bit bus. And you gotta love this fin design right here. Certainly something I can't wait to put into the PC. And also, if you're curious, on the back of it here, it has 2 display port, which is 2.1, or yeah, I think it's 2.1. And same thing with HDMI, it's 2.1. So you can definitely hook it up multi-monitor wise. And the packaging is just phenomenal when it comes to this. Very, very nice and packaged tightly, because if you, I gotta show you how this box looks like. Let me sit this down real quick, because originally I was nervous about it. Let me set this up just to show you what the front of the box looks like here. There you go. It came in just like this. Like it got dragged around. Quite the mess, right? And they even had the audacity to want to see that area where they tried to tape it up. Actually, yeah, right here. They tried to tape it up right there. So seeing this box kind of gave me a heart attack, because we didn't know if the GPU was going to be really damaged or not. But luckily they packed it really well. In fact, even with the backplate and everything, they put it in a nice envelope here. So if you're not going to, if you choose not to use it, you can always put it in here. And this actually sits right onto the top. So for you guys out there, I gotta ask you, what do you think of the 9950X 3D that AMD released, the Ryzen 9? Are you guys interested in seeing that, or is that something that you feel that you don't really need to see? I would love to hear from you guys on your personal opinion, because I know not everybody's going to want to spend $700 on a CPU, or I know some people might just want to see just the power that it really has rendering wise, so we can run it through different benchmarks. But feel free to let me know and just put it down in the comments down below, or put it in the or send it right into the chat, because that is I really found it interesting, because AMD released this processor, the 9950X 3D, and the fact that this processor is one of the best grades. It's literally like they had a whole big crate of this the silicone processors here, and they decided to save and filter out the best ones for the 9950X 3D. So if you notice that most people who are getting the 9950X 3D, the grades are pretty high on it. Like I've seen some that go even up as high as 110, which is insane. And usually you don't really see that on processors, but they were definitely saving it for this display. It's sold out on Newegg, but if you go to your local Micro Center, or if you're interested in getting a 9950X 3D, they certainly do have them. I've checked mine constantly just to get an idea of how it's selling so far, but it seems like they still have plenty in stock. It's well over 25 in stock every time I check. So it hasn't really gone down too much, and I expect it to restock relatively quickly. If you're trying to purchase it off of Newegg or Amazon or any other retailer, then you should be able to purchase it soon if you are looking to get a 9950X 3D. They also have the 9900X 3D, but again, I feel like over time that's going to be one of those ones where they're going to end up kind of leaving behind the ends of times here. So I'll put this right back into its case. But for everyone that's joining in, I just unboxed this GPU here, which is the Nitro, the Sapphire Nitro Plus. It's the overclock edition, and it's just a really nice GPU. I definitely am going to get some really close B-roll for this, so I can share with you guys, so you can have a closer look and see exactly where these connections are. Because again, it's really hard to see, because you'll see kind of these little tabs out here or down here, and each tab is actually where the connection is. So if you go up closer to it, especially, I wish I had a remote control so I can zoom in so you guys can see it. But if you look inside, that's where they have all the connections, and you have the back plate where you can use it to hide the different cables that you would be using to this GPU. Now, if you're thinking about getting a RX 9070 XT, I'd say just do it. It's definitely a very solid design. I don't know if any of you saw it, but they actually came out with an AMD reference RX 9070, but it's just, I don't think it's gonna ever really come out to public. But it surfaced in China. They had photos of it, of how it would look like. But if they certainly did come out with their own version of it, if they chose to do that, they would make a killing 100%. So the heat sinks are nice and large. That's why the design of this GPU is much larger. Explains why they give you a bracket as well. And if you feel it, it's very solid. And if you're curious about how solid it is, it feels, well, actually, if you look closely to this, even if you take a look on the cover closely, it's actually vented really well. So it's can definitely ventilate heat super well. And apparently with these cards, what's really nice about them, you're able to undervolt them and still be able to get some really nice overclock numbers. But one problem I've heard with the RX 9070 XTs, which I'm not sure if it's every model, but I know specifically when it comes to ASRock, that apparently their model, from what I've heard, is if you overclock it and you undervolt it or overvolt it, there's certain limitations that this card does not allow you to reach, and for some reason it will kind of default back down to a 3.2 gigahertz, because I've seen it get pushed as far as that, about 3.2 gigahertz. But then after it goes beyond that point, once it gets to like 3.4, I think I saw, or 3.5, and then the card gets pushed back by itself to 3.2. So the overclocking doesn't really work that well yet, but it's not because of the design of the chipset, not at all, not anything to do with that, but it actually has to do more with the AMD drivers, because the drivers are the ones that are giving more of the actual issue. So one thing I've noticed too, especially with the stream, I don't know if I tried to update the chat so that way everybody could see everything that everyone is saying. But if you don't like it too much, just let me know, because I can see on the vertical live it looks probably a little bit crazy on there. So I definitely should probably time it and make the text fade instead of actually having it stick around, because I just want to make sure that everybody's heard and I answer everybody's questions. And hopefully, again, if you are enjoying the stream, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will certainly do a more deeper dive of this video explaining everything about this card, because it is really a beautiful card here. Now, hopefully that AMD will restock on the RX 9070 XT soon. I know that currently there is a rumor that NVIDIA's shortages are actually almost over. I actually went over it slightly yesterday. But it's kind of hard to say, in my personal opinion, because they recalled about 90% of the cards that were supposed to go out from the shortage, because to fix the issue that a lot of the 12-volt high-power ports, they were reaching temperatures up to 150 degrees, and that's not even Fahrenheit, that's Celsius, so that's going to be very hot, especially in a PC. So what they did was that they recalled 90% of the RTX 50 series cards, especially the 5090s, to get this issue looked at and tried to have this issue repaired before they send out more of these cards back into the public, unless you want to buy a bundle that has a fire extinguisher with it. Because if you do choose to get RTX 50 series, again, really think about it, because I even took a look at getting one, and because I was almost close to getting one, but I was kind of debating it, because more than likely I feel that it's almost not necessary at this point, because I'm sure you guys saw plenty of RTX 50 series videos, but it just has my curiosity to where how it looks like when it comes to the overclocking side, how it looks with benchmarks, and how it really holds up next to the RTX 4090. And the biggest problem I gotta say with the RTX 50 series is how they took away the capability of actually gaming on a DX9 or a PhysX, which is kind of a pain. So the way they organized this card, had it just like this inside of the box, organized really well. So it's really easy to put away. And again, this video is not sponsored at all. This is all just what I went to purchase on Newegg. And of course it came in just like this, it figures, because it missed the trailer. So I was afraid that this GPU might have came in pieces, but luckily it came in one whole piece and was actually packed pretty decent, to the point where I didn't really have to worry about it as much. So if you guys are just joining into the channel or just tuning in, feel free to let me know. Hopefully you are enjoying the stream so far. If you are, make sure to give it a thumbs up and join the big wonderful fan band. Make sure you join the giveaway, which I have it over there actually. It's on my desk up in front of me, which is a Samsung 990 Pro, and I am giving away some merch. So make sure you get a chance to join the giveaway, because I want to personally thank all of the fan band for being part of this wonderful channel. And again, a lot of the parts that I do end up getting are mostly stuff that I do get on my own, because again, I don't want people to end up purchasing things that they don't really have to anyway, especially if it's not going to be good. Because nowadays, like when it comes to a lot of PC parts and accessories, you're not 100% sure how well the product's really going to be. Because look at the mess that Nvidia put themselves in, because it's pretty crazy to believe that Nvidia went down the path the way they did, because they used to be like the household GPU. They used to be the one where if you wanted to game, you get a Nvidia card. But now it seems like they kind of fallen from good graces, because now it's almost like they're not nearly as good as they used to be. There we go. We'll put that back. I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to take a swig of water, because I'm getting pretty thirsty here under this hot heat lamp. I'll be right back. Apologize for that, Leland. Thank you for mentioning it to me. Because for some reason my mic does that every time I switch scenes. Something I gotta figure out here. But if you guys didn't tune into the stream yesterday, I did mention about the RTX 5060, which is going to be during a imminent release. And with the RTX 5060, it's 8 gigabytes of G7. It's on a 128-bit memory bus. And it's also a, there's also going to be another variation where it's going to be a 12 gigabyte version of of the 5060. Only thing is, they took away PhysX and DirectX 9. So, and again, this card I feel isn't going to be really 100% that great. Especially, you're going to be limited to the type of games that you can play on the RTX 50 series. Hopefully, they do something to bring it back, because it seems that they're more focused on the AI transformer models and having a DLSS4. In fact, speaking of when it comes to GPUs, just like this AMD one here, which is the Radeon 9070 XT here, it does feature RDNA 4. It does have the AFMF, which is AMD's motion flow, which is excellent. They're anti-lag. They have improved their software a whole lot. But again, I'm really curious about if this issue is happening with the 9070s. If you have one, let me know. If you tried to overclock it, if you went to try to overvolt it, and it started defaulting to its factory numbers, let me know, because I'm curious about it myself. But once we do this build, I'll definitely do that and see if it does it to the Sapphire, because I know it does it from the claims. It seems like it's doing it with the Ace Rock version of the RX 9070, but we will see. Oh, and to go right back to that topic of the RTX 5060, if you're curious about the pricing of the RTX 5060, it's around $300 to $400 USD. So it's still going to be up there. And it's pretty crazy, because not that long ago, you remember back then, that could get you a pretty decent card. You could get a decent card for $300 or $400. I remember I think it was like a 980 for, was it? No, not a 980. Or it was like a, can't even remember what it was. But you got a pretty decent card. I think it was like more like a 970 at the time. And it was GTX. But you could get a decent card. I only spent $300 on it, but it did everything without issue. Now you get a card for $300. Not even sure if you're able to game on a game like Monster Hunter Wilds or any type of real Unreal Engine 5 type of game, because those are the games that seem to be giving more of the bigger issues. But one game I'm certainly interested in seeing, definitely for sure, is Ninja Gaiden 4. That's going to be quite exciting to see, and I hope that will be out there. What's up, Ezekiel? How you doing, Ezekiel? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure that I'm sure that YouTube has started pushing it out. And I noticed on the vertical stream, it seems like that the chat box seems like it stays on the screen. I don't know if that's a bit annoying or not. Let me know. I could definitely change that, make that kind of fade away, or figure a better way to deal with that. But on the regular horizontal, hopefully it's not as bad. But hopefully you guys can see each other all talking to each other. Yes, it's nice to see you, Ezekiel. Definitely nice to see you. Hopefully you got to see this. If you didn't, let me know. I'm definitely will unbox it again, just to give you an idea of what comes in it. Originally, when I did get this box, just to give you an idea, especially for everyone that's coming in, or whoever is unfamiliar with my channel, I'm Chris Mizo. Hopefully you are liking this video. If you are, make sure to give it a thumbs up and be part of the wonderful fan band. Make sure to join the free giveaway, which is in my latest video. It's on, if you're looking for that video, okay, we'll definitely unbox it for sure again. And nice. What were you gaming, Ezekiel? What type of game were you playing? Take a look at that. this flap almost like fell off when I received this box. So when I saw it, I practically got a heart attack because I wasn't sure if the damage was going to be sustained into here. But what I did get was the Sapphire Plus, which is the RX 9070 XT. Oh, nice. Modern Warfare 2. You know what's funny? I'm pretty upset like how Call of Duty, when it comes to Modern Warfare 2, was, I feel, way better than Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 felt like it was just a patch of Modern Warfare 2. But I definitely enjoyed 2 way more than I enjoyed 3 when they came back out with it. But now I'm kind of getting fed up with this whole Call of Duty series because I don't know what they're going to do next. But what I am excited about is this Battlefield 6 that's going to be released. And Battlefield 6 looks quite amazing. Hopefully everyone out there joined the beta. It looks really dope because they brought back the building destruction, which I know everybody has to love because you can shoot up a building and someone's in there, you can make the building collapse, which was always nice. Yeah, I agree. I haven't really even played the Black Ops 6 too often at all. I haven't even prestiged it, believe it or not. But this is the box that it comes in. It actually comes into this nice premium box here. And when you open it up, they give you a nice back plate. And what this back plate is for the actual GPU. And usually you don't really see GPUs that come with this, but wait till you see the design of it. It's pretty crazy, actually. It's pretty insane and quite impressive. And you'll really like how they organize this box. In fact, let me get this box out of here because this serves no purpose. So we got this back plate here. We'll put that to the side and I'll show you exactly what it does. And then inside the box here has this foam packing. So if anyone's curious if I'm going to make another video on this, I will. And it's going to be a much more closer view of what's inside of Sapphire's Nitro Plus. Because it's so detailed that some of the designs are in here. It's really hard to show you on the stream because some of the areas are hidden here. So the way they put everything here is they have the instructions here up onto the top of the GPU. And then you have your GPU that comes inside just like this. And it has accessories box right here in the bottom. So with all the extra accessories, they just don't throw it under the GPU like they usually do. Is that can be quite the mess. And then you don't know where any of the other accessories is. Then you have to try to dig through the foam in order to find it. And that's kind of annoying. And inside the Sapphire box here, inside of the accessory box here, it comes with the GPU bracket. So you can set it to be stabilized so that way it doesn't have any type of play when it's inside of the PC, because that can cause some damage, and the last thing you want to do is damage your GPU, which is the most critical part of your gaming rig. You have your ARGB cables, and believe it or not, this model actually has the 12-volt high power port, or you can call it the 12 2x16 port right here. And then they have the converter here for the 8 pins. Yeah, it's quite beautiful, right? Welcome, Alex. And wait till I pull this out, because you're gonna feel it's quite amazing and because they packaged it really nice here. Dun, dun, dun. There it is. Take a look at that. 120 millimeter fans here. And if you take a really close look at it, it might be hard to see, but it's actually vented up on the top. You'll see little holes. And onto the back of it even, where the backplate goes actually has a 12-volt high power port onto the back of it. It's really hard to see. Again, this is why I wanted to really zoom into it. It's inside of where the heatsink is. And I'll show you exactly why they decided. Yeah, it's a beautiful card, right, Ezekiel? Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, Plano. And it also has a ARGB header inside too. So if you choose to use the ARGBs, you can. If you don't like ARGBs, you don't have to use it. That's the best part. Because a lot of people also, as much as there is as much people that enjoy RGBs, there is as much people who want to turn off the RGBs. So depending on who you are, you can certainly do that. You can choose not to plug that in, and it won't automatically turn on. And the reason why it's designed like this is you see this hole here that they have for the heatsink. This is actually a route for your wires, so that way they don't stick out in front of your case. Because as most PC cases, you're gonna have the wire that sticks out, just like even my RTX 4090, it has the 12-volt high power port that sticks out in the front of it, which is a Gigabyte WindForce card. Yes, certainly, Mark, it does make you appreciate saving the money for it, because especially because AMD knows what gamers want, that they know that gamers aren't willing to really spend well over $700 on a GPU if they don't have to. They know that. Hence why they created these cards. And the best part is that these new cards, the new RX 9070 XTs, can even compete with the RTX 5080s. But yet, the RTX 5080s, you're spending so much more money. But some may argue and say, oh, it can't even compete with the RTX 5070 Ti. But then again, when you compare certain benchmarks such as Cyberpunk 2077, and there's a few others, it seems that the RX 9070 XT is very comparable. I mean, look at the size. It is quite the beast, and I really hope that AMD does go to a more higher-end card, because if they do, they can be quite competitive, especially with NVIDIA. Even though it's G6 and 16 gigabytes of VRAM, it's still quite the beast. In fact, even with the RDNA 4 and everything that it comes with, the software is built really well for it. Now, if you're curious about the ports here, it does have two HDMI 2.1 ports and two display ports, which are also DisplayPort 2.1. And you gotta appreciate the vented design here, where it has that nice look. It's nice and clean. You don't see anything sticking out where you have to plug a cable in, because usually that's where the port usually sits, is right there on the top, right in the middle. But this time it's just a nice clean look. Personally, I can't wait to see how it looks, because I think it's going to look really well in the ASUS B850 motherboard here. And let me show you the backplate, because they actually put it in a really wonderful spot here. So the backplate, they actually put it in an envelope for you. It's a nice thick one. It isn't like cheap paper. It's a very thick material, so you don't have to worry about ripping this envelope at all. Scalpers are everywhere at this point. Yes, I agree. That is the most annoying part when it comes to purchasing PC parts. They even went after the 9950 X3D, even though the demand isn't as high for it, but they made it seem that way, especially on Newegg and Amazon. You can't even get a 9950 X3D. But the funny thing is, when you check your local micro centers, it seems that they have plenty of 9950 X3Ds. So it's almost like this artificial sale that's been going on to where they bought up all the supply. And you know what's funny? NVIDIA actually said that they felt like they actually outsold their 40 series. But there is no stock to really outsell. If you have 274 RTX 5090s on launch day at all micro centers, how is that more than the RTX 4090? It makes absolutely no sense. especially on that statement. At this point, it just makes you feel like Nvidia is just lying to the consumers because it just doesn't make sense. Or they're trying to lie to their investors, but again, they don't really care about the consumer side because they only have like about, I think it's like a little bit over 20 billion in the consumer section. Sure, it sounds like a whole lot of money, but the rest of their money, 1 trillion of it, a little bit over 1 trillion of it, is all into business, data, and enterprise. So we're a very, very small number to compared to the enterprise side. Actually, I think, yeah, it's like 27 billion compared to well over 1 trillion. It's like 1.2 trillion in enterprise. So that's why it seems that they're not really taking care of their consumers as much. But in the back here, didn't mean to rant so much about that, but right here on the back, watch this. It's a magnet that kind of sticks on. And the point of that is to hide the cables. You can route your cables right through there. And you wouldn't even notice it. So it's a really nice design because once you plug it into your PCI Express slot, it's going to sit right up on the top here. And then you can easily just put the plate on the top as soon as you're done connecting everything. So Jeb says, between this model, Red Devil, and the Tai Chi, anyone snagged one of these models yet? I do know someone that grabbed the Tai Chi model, and it's definitely, from what I know, the most quiet out of the bunch. So if you really care about your decibels when it comes to a gaming PC, that's definitely one of the most quiet ones and performs really well, I can tell you that. Red Devil, I'm not too sure about. And same thing with Sapphire. I haven't messed with it too much, but I did hear something about the that model, about the Tai Chi model, to where there's problems overclocking, but that might be just driver issues, and it might not be specifically to ASRock or any other manufacturer. Because apparently if you attempt to try to overvolt it, it kind of defaults back into like a default overclock almost, into where you can't really overclock it anymore. I think the default overclock, or the most you can really go, is like 3.3 gigahertz. Again, very high boost clock, especially for a graphics card just like this, and very useful. And the most interesting part is you can get there. You can actually reach those type of speeds without overvolting. In fact, you can undervolt it. I think it's like not that much. You can undervolt it quite a bit, and you'll still be able to pull those numbers. And this is competing against something like the RTX 5080 and the RTX 5070 Ti. So how is the cooling? The cooling I know for all of them, they're excellent. For this, it should be really good because, as I mentioned, you notice that they have a bunch of vents here on to the back of it as well. And the same with the heatsink. They give you plenty of space and ventilation for this card here. And even in the front of it, if you take a look at it, if you zoom in, you can really see that they have like ventilation holes to where the GPU can actually breathe. There's not any limit to it. And the nice thing is, even if you don't set it up, if you choose not to set it up, just like if you hook it up onto a riser, it really wouldn't look too much different, even if you just hook it up to the traditional way, which is just putting it into the PCI Express bus. And the best part about this is, again, you have the options to use the ARGB cables and the 12-volt high power port that it does use, which is, I'm sure, is going to do quite the number, especially in overclocking, because I'm really curious about it. And hopefully the power supply that we do choose, we do get one that does have a 12-volt high power port built in, or a 12.2 X16, whichever, either ATX 3 or ATX 3.1, either of those type of power supplies. And hopefully it comes in soon, because supposedly there's one coming in soon, I know of, And if it doesn't come in on time, I'm definitely more than willing to take you guys out to Micro Center with me once more, and we can go look for a power supply. And there was something else. I was thinking of getting the 9950 X3D to do these benchmark tests if you're interested in rendering and everything, but I don't think there's a big popular number on it. And the 9070 XT is considered the middle tier card. Reason being is because it runs on a 256-bit memory bus, and it's 16 gigabytes of VRAM, but it certainly performs. If you did get this card, Mark, it would certainly perform very well, especially if you're gaming in something like, say, 1440. This card would have no issues doing it. Now, if you're going into more of 4K gaming and everything, again, this card won't really have any issues with that either. In fact, they'll beat out a PS5 Pro any day, or any type of console without issue as well. And it has RDNA 4 with this card. So again, even though it's a mid-tier card, it's quite a beast. It's really quite the beast. And if they did come out with a high-end card, I can't imagine if AMD did, like say if they did come out with a 9080, and it was the XT or XTX version where it has the extra VRAM, and it would be very comparable for sure against a RTX 4090. I can definitely say that. And the best part is you don't have to worry about the missing ROPs, which is the most important part when it comes to GPUs. I can certainly do AI models if you're more interested in doing something like that. I'm saving up for the model you are holding. I'm glad, yes, it certainly is. And I will definitely make more videos on this, and we'll do some benchmarks. And if you're not familiar with the build that I'm doing, Mark, I'm actually going to put it inside of an ASUS B850 Gaming Plus motherboard. It has a PCI Express 5 bus on there, so we're going to hook it up. It does have the power to do that in capability, and it's going to match the build pretty nice actually. In fact, let me show it to you guys, because I think I explained this model pretty much to you guys. So I'm going to bring this motherboard over here. Which is this one. And this motherboard is quite the beast. I saw the undervolt the Red Devil to unlock its true potential. Guessing Sapphire XT is as good or better. It's going to be just as good or very similar. Again, they're in the same family, and you will certainly not be disappointed. Either if you get Sapphire, Red Devil, any type of brand, XTX is really good. Any type of AMD brand is impressive, and you won't have to question its ability, because AMD has really come up, especially when it comes to the graphics side. And they certainly had the production out there. They certainly had the supply out there, but it's just a bit unfortunate that scalpers had to take up the show, because if they didn't, then we would have a lot more RX 9070s. Thank you, Ezekiel. This is it right here, the B850, which it's going to go in. Matter of fact, I can actually demonstrate something to you with the B850 since we're right here, because a lot of people are curious about this too when it comes to ASUS's B850. Now, I'm going to take this motherboard out here, out of its ESD bag here. And the colors are going to match really well with it. I can't wait to see how it looks like once it's in an actual PC build here. And you got to check out that video, that Micro Center video that I had a stream, because it's pretty funny. We ended up getting quite a few parts out of there. And I'll set it with the SD bag, just to have it on there. Is it true that AMD CPUs work better with AMD GPUs? Yes, they work excellent. They work excellent together. In fact, AMD was trying to do that for a while. They've been trying to really have people purchase their GPUs and their CPUs, so that way it unlocks their infinity cache. And that's what they really advertise it, because the infinity cache is what you are looking for. Thanks, Plano. And here it is right here. This is the tough gaming motherboard here. And as you can see, the colors actually match really well with it, because it's kind of a gunmetal look, right? So I'm going to sit this down here. And a lot of people were concerned about the quick release when it comes to this, the PCI Express 5. In fact, I think someone mentioned it and said that they're afraid to get any ASUS motherboards because of it, but this one actually has the Q latch. Yes, F those scalpers. They need to take the L, and do not go on eBay to purchase them. Any type of GPU or any type of CPU or whichever item that they're selling, don't buy from them, because that just brings more trouble again to the market. If you don't buy, they'll stop scalping. And there's the quick release lever for the PCI Express. So I'll connect it right here. So it's going to go in just like this. Let me make sure there's room here. There we go. There you go. And just like that. And now there's a lot of concern about removing the card because they're afraid that it's going to break. What CPU am I using for the build? Great question. I will pull it right up here. It's going to be the 9600X. Again, this was actually a budget build. It's right here. It's the AMD. It's the AMD 9600X. We got this for a great deal, just slightly over 200 USD. Yeah, the 13900KF is still a great processor though. In fact, the 13900KF still can beat out the 285 even, which is Intel's newest processor. But apparently their new 18A dies are supposed to be really good. But again, that's going to remain to be seen. And I really feel bad for Intel. In fact, they actually got a new board member. It's Bo something. But they got a new board member. He's going to be the new CEO that's replacing Pat Gelsinger. So yeah, definitely the 13900KF is still quite the beast. So don't worry there, Plano. And right here is the Crucial P3 Plus. I actually got this for $64.99 on sale. It's also PCI Express 4. And if you're curious why didn't I get PCI Express 5 NVMe, there's a very good reason for it. It's not really necessary to get PCI Express 5 NVMe's because gaming-wise, there is no real potential for it. There is no direct storage universally. Until there is, then there would be use for PCI Express 5. Yeah, sure is, Leland. So it's going to go in with this Crucial P3 Plus and the Vengeance RGB DDR5, which is 6,000 megahertz. They're actually are going to be releasing some new RAM here. They're going to be releasing. Sorry, I'm not a fan of Intel CPU. All AMD CPUs in my build. I gotcha. See, I feel I know AMD is definitely king when it comes to the gaming CPUs, and Intel is really good as well. They held the title for a long time, but AMD certainly has made a comeback when it comes to the processor side. In fact, I remember how I thought AMD was just going to go out, but they really came back, especially that Lisa Su took over. Because Lisa Su definitely showed how to bring back a company. And now, hopefully they can go and take up more of the GPU side. Yeah, it's one of the best RAM kits to get, for sure. As you. But it's certainly one of the best RAM kits to get. And also for this build, we're still trying to get the PSU for it. And yes, NVIDIA is priced very expensive because of ray tracing. And path tracing is another issue too, because path tracing is what they really sell on. Now, if you compare the ray tracing and path tracing, I have to admit, now when it comes to the RX 9070 XT, they're only one generation behind when it comes to ray tracing, meaning that they're as equal as the 40 series. That's not terrible, is it? And then when you go to path tracing, they're as equal as the 30 series. But then again, who really games with path tracing very often? And does it really matter to you? Will that take away your joy from when it comes to gaming? But that's awesome, Plano. Which NVIDIA GPU do you have? But NVIDIA has certainly been the standard when it comes to gaming for sure for a long time. In fact, I thought NVIDIA was going to take the crown when it came to Blackwell. Even game manufacturers talked up about NVIDIA. They said it's going to be one of the most greatest GPUs that you've ever seen. But it seems far from it. That's an excellent GPU. RTX 4090 is a beast. That's what I currently have, as well as RTX 4090 in my regular build. In fact, this is the same exact build that I'm streaming from, is with the RTX 4090. And the problem is, when it comes to NVIDIA, they took up so much of the market to the point where they can price whatever they want. That's the issue with them. So if they charge a RTX 5090 $2,000 USD, who's going to really stop them? It's not going to be AMD, unfortunately, and it's not going to be Intel. But then NVIDIA made a big mistake themselves. Oh, ASUS RTX 4090 overclock light. Nice. Is that what you have, Ezekiel? A lot of RTX 4090s over here. It's definitely the RTX 4090 club for sure. But it's the biggest problem when it comes to the to NVIDIA is because they own so much of the market. They can price exactly how they want, and there is nothing nobody can do. But again, what's really stopped them is their own supply. You can't expect 274 units of RTX 5090s, and this is per unit. That's all they had nationwide to really be the top seller that outsold the RTX 4090. In fact, getting the RTX 4090, especially, I know all you guys are familiar with it. If you did purchase the RTX 4090 when it first launched, it wasn't that bad of a card to get. Sure, it was difficult to try to check out with the RTX 4090, but it was manageable. You were still able to get it. But to get the RTX 5090, you have bots fighting against other bots to the point where it's more of a bot competition than actual people trying to purchase the card. In fact, I barely seen anyone purchase the card off the internet, fairly enough. Most people that did get the RTX 5090 ended up getting it at a Micro Center, or some people were just willing to pay the scalp price, which again, I highly recommend not to do. Do not purchase a scalped RTX 5090. Again, there's other problems, not only because you're supporting their habit, but you're also creating a problem for yourself, because if there is an issue with the card, then you might have an issue sending it in for warranty purposes because you bought it off of a third party. Curious about the PSU? Are you looking for one of the new ATX 3.1 PSUs or a ATX 3 compliant ready PSU? So currently I am looking for a PSU, and I'm expecting one to actually come in soon. The PSU that's supposed to be coming in, I'm not sure exactly which one it is quite yet. I've been told that it's quite a few different ones, and I'm supposed to get it from ASUS, but that now I'm telling you guys on the stream exclusively, I'm supposed to get it from ASUS, but nothing has come in yet. I have to get in reach with them and see what's going on with their PSU supply. So if they're having issues, I don't mind to just go grab one myself at Micro Center, and we'll figure it out together on which PSU to get. We'll try to get the best price GPU, not GPU, the best price PSU, and also more than likely we'll try to get one that's more ATX 3.1. More than likely ATX 3. They might have them. If they do, it might be on sale, and we might end up going with that instead. But we will see. It all depends on Micro Center. Now with NVIDIA, again, releasing the RTX 5060, which is kind of a joke on the line, because I don't know anyone who wants to buy a 8 GB card, especially in 2025. You're not going to go very far with it. I don't know if it can even manage into 2026, because just say, I would imagine GTA 6, just say, for example, GTA 6, we all know that's going to be released. So when that does get released, you think that an 8 GB VRAM card is going to be capable enough to handle a game like that? It's already going to be out of date. So really you're spending almost more than probably $50 a month on a card to get outdated, which isn't going to even last you. Exactly. It's kind of ridiculous, especially in this year. Instead, we should be looking to increase capacity. But NVIDIA did have a higher capacity GPU. In fact, they did release a 6000 RTX 6000, but this is specific to people who have workstations, for those who are interested in AI models or creating language models, because this GPU can go up to 96 gigabytes of VRAM, has well over 4,000 extra cores. Yes, that's true, geezer. GTA 6 won't be around for PC anytime soon. Unfortunately, we won't see GTA 6 probably for maybe another year, at least. But again, that's another problem Rockstar has. They know that there's all these PC gamers. They would make a killing if they would just sell it on PC as well. Unless they know that they're trying to, say, double dip, because they know people who have PCs also have a console, and that they'll purchase it for their console and also on PC. So it's easy sales for them. But what do you think of the rumor of GTA 6? If it cost over $100, would you go purchase it? Because allegedly, it's supposed to be a completely different, it's supposed to, again, when it comes to marketing, they say it's going to completely change the game. All right, Mark, have a good night, or have a good day, depending where you are in the world. It's hard to tell from where everyone is from, because I know it's funny. Somebody came into the stream or onto the post saying that the time that I was going to stream was going to be 1 a.m. for them. So it's definitely they're definitely in Europe somewhere for sure. If it's that late. Playing GTA Enhanced on PC right now on my 9070 XT. Ray tracing looks nice. Nice. Have you tried overclocking, geezer? Have you tried it to see how much you can do? Because I'm curious if you're also experiencing the same issues from what I hear from the claims. But again, it's hard to say because I don't know how true these claims are. Now, David says, is getting an AMD 7700 worth it for gaming? Now, you can get an AMD 7700 for gaming if you like, because again, most importantly, to start off, 7700 will work perfectly fine. It's just a set-off point for you, just a beginning mark, because what is the most important part is the GPU. If you have an excellent GPU and you have a 9070 XT, you're going to be perfectly fine. And then eventually when you do have, say, the extra money and you choose to go up a little bit and you say get a 7800 X3D, then you can definitely upgrade for a lot less. You could sell your old processor to get the new one. So it's a good way to start off. Definitely a 7700 is just good to enjoy some gaming. Now, depending on the monitor you're gaming on, I'm assuming you're not gaming on 4K, you're trying to game on, say, 1440p or 1080p, it would work great. Undervolting works better. Oh, okay. I figured that. I figured it would be undervolting. Oh, Southern Cali. Oh, nice. I have a 4060 overclocked at the moment. A 4060 is quite the champion. It's actually, you know what's funny? The 4060 is actually, I think the 3060 or it's the 4060. Correct me which one it is, because I know in Steam, which either one is the most popular GPU that they use accordingly to gamers. I think it is the 3060 if I'm not mistaken. But 4060 is also an excellent card, and definitely can do some decent overclocks on it. Because remember when the NVIDIA RTX 40 series came out, and people said this line is just garbage? But now look at the 50 series. Is it really garbage when you think about the 40 series? Because it's quite a mess. Now you gotta have a fire extinguisher next to you and worry that your PC doesn't burn out because of the 12-volt high power port, or if a capacitor doesn't blow out on you. And the funny thing is, the engineers of Gigabyte, these are ex-engineers, electrical engineers, that said that for the 12-volt high power port, that 525 watts is way too much for these 12-volt high power ports. In fact, that it should be no more than 325 watts. So if you push any more than that, you're really pushing some heat, some serious heat, because there's going to be a lot of resistance in that. If there is, that's how you have the meltdowns. That's how you have the melted connectors. That's how you have the burned out cards and the burned out cables especially from third-party manufacturers, such as Cable Mod was one of them, where they created their own cable where you can hook up to a PSU. And I think it was Mod DIY. They also came out with their own version. I bought a RX 9070 at MSRP. I see US prices, and yes, they are certainly insane. 1600 is way too much. Yeah, so if you can get it for a better deal in Southern Africa, you definitely got to definitely take advantage of it, especially at MSRP. It's funny because right now they're making it seem like it's on sale, and I think a lot has to do with what they said is the second batch, when that comes in, the pricing will go up, allegedly. And if it does, some of these companies or some of these retailers are saying, for example, we'll take this RX 9070 XT, for example. They said, oh, originally this was priced at 700 USD, but now it's priced at 1300. So when the second batch comes in, they're gonna put a big X on 1300 and make it priced at 1000 to make it seem like it's on sale, but really the card's only $700. Again, we will see if a lot of retailers do that, because I seen a leak of a retailer doing that, and that's just plain ridiculous, because the retail market has gotten quite out of hand. And then again, if these scalpers try to buy up more of these GPUs, how much more are they going to charge? And how much are they? This is funny because you got to really think about this. Have you tried to sell something on eBay? You saw people camp out a Micro Center for the 9070. That is insane, David, because it's funny because I heard that there's people that went to Micro Center early, and they just went like a few hours early to get it, but then they realized when they got in the store that they could have easily picked one up like at 10:30, or because usually they open at 10 o'clock, that they could have picked one up at 10:30 without any issue. Of course, the ones that are the lowest ones were cheaper to get. Did anyone find it ironic that the world's most valuable tech company, overall in total capitalization, was unable to guard against the AI agents that they yeah, it is pretty funny that they actually did that, because they're supposed to be the world leaders. And remember how they just brushed off, just like how they brushed off DeepSeek? Oh yeah, they don't matter. Because they're a giant. They're at the point where they have, again, so much capital in enterprise. It's almost at 1.2 trillion when it comes to enterprise. And then when it comes to the consumer side, it's only like at 23 billion. We're a very small number for NVIDIA. That's why you don't really see the care as much as they used to. But now they know they have so much of the enterprise market. That's who they really cater to, unfortunately. And I've always wanted to defend NVIDIA on this behalf because originally, in the beginning, I really thought Blackwell would do something different. It would be a game changer. But it really seems very far from that, in fact, because now when you see the RTX 50 series, you just wonder what were they really thinking of. Because they had a 5nm die in the RTX 4090, just like the cards that we just spoke about earlier, right? And now you have the RTX 50 series, it's also a 5nm die. And once they plugged it in, they put a little bit more power into it, and hence they got more capabilities because they put more power to it. So is it really that much of a difference from the RTX 4090 to the 5090, or is it really just a RTX 4090 Super? Because that's what it seems like. Sure, Blackwell's a different chipset, but it really hasn't been that large of a leap over the RTX 4090 or the RTX 40 series. So, I mean, if you camp to save money... I am thirsty, especially with this heat from this lamp. But it's funny too because now it's like really think about this because I brought this up yesterday, and I don't know if anyone was there to see this part, or I mentioned a really funny conspiracy theory to think about it. Isn't it ironic that NVIDIA took away DirectX 9 and they took away PhysX games? So now you have DirectX 9 and PhysX gone, but all because maybe what I'm thinking is that you have these game manufacturers. Again, most games that you see nowadays, a lot of them are remakes, right? So they go over, one CEO goes over to Jensen Huang or NVIDIA and says, hey, I have a great idea. Just take away DirectX 9 and PhysX and say that you want to create something better and that we're moving forward to the future, that we're going to do better for GPUs. And that way we can remake our games so people can rebuy those games. Even though, say, it's just like a good example is Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. There's a rumor that they're going to remake that game with, I think, Unreal Engine 5, ironically. So you have somebody, we'll use Bethesda Studios, for example. You have somebody like Bethesda Studio go over to somebody like NVIDIA and say, why don't you do this? That way more people buy our game. NVIDIA says, sure, it's a win-win for both of us because you're going to need the best hardware in order for you to play this game the way you want it to. And it's a win for the gaming company because they also can get the purchases from buyers who purchase the hardware. So think about that. It's very possible, right? When you really think about it. Now, the 5090 is more like the 40. Yeah, it really is. Oh, yeah. You know what's funny, Ezekiel? I could really go for some coffee right now. I usually always drink some coffee in the morning and at night because I just am addicted to coffee. I'm a caffeine addict. So you're looking for a PSU. Amazon has XPG, brand core reactor 2 for 130 for a 1000 watt modular. Really? Is the XPG, is that one the core reactor 2? So that's the ATX 3.1 then. I think that is, right? Sounds no name, but the PSU tier is 8 rated. Do you know if it's, I have to look at it, if it's gold standard or if it's platinum standard? It's funny, right, Jeb? When you really think about it. When you really think about it, it seems that it's going in that route. In fact, they want everything to be more subscription-based even. Because when you think about like NVIDIA's GeForce Now, they want you to purchase that because they know it's going to get to the point where nobody could really buy graphics cards eventually. And then why not just get GeForce Now, where you can just cloud game. And now you have to pay each month to really cloud game on the games that you would like. So it's like almost like every single way, they tried to find a way to really give it to us, so to say. I think it's just 3. Okay. But even if it's ATX 3, it's probably excellent. I've heard of XPG. I know XPG. I'm trying to think. Oh, they also have memory modules and everything too. They also have RAM, XPG. That's where they come from. That and NVMe's as well. But I'll take a look at that. But I definitely would like to take you guys over if you want to either go online shopping with me or you'd rather go to Micro Center in person. I'll take you guys with me to take a look at that, and we can decide together on what to do with this build, because this is the people's build. This is the fanbam's build, really, for the most part. I think it's just 3. It has a 12x6 high power. Yeah, they sell other stuff too. Yep. Yeah, because that's, you know what's funny? A really excellent power supply I thought is great is Thermaltake's. Thermaltake has an excellent power supply, the GF3. And at the time, they were the first ones to really have the ATX 3. And I went to go purchase it. In fact, they were ahead of its time because they also had 2 12-volt high-power ports. So I thought it was going to be good enough. Again, this is 1650 watts, so it's a lot of power. And definitely, I noticed the electricity bill when I was using that power supply for sure. But anyway, when I was using that power supply, I was hoping, and if they were going to come out with a dual 12-volt high-power ports, which would make more sense, where they can split the power of the GPU of, like, say, the RTX 50 series card, then that would make more sense and be quite a bit of less of a fire hazard. I wouldn't have to get a fire extinguisher in the studio. Because I don't think... again, who wants to spend $3,500 on a card? Which I almost saw the ASUS Astral, right? I was thinking purchasing it, but I don't know if people really care for RTX 5090 like that anymore, to be honest. Because personally, I don't even want to buy it, and I create content, right? So let alone, I would imagine everybody else is not interested in getting an RTX 5090 as much as I'm not really as interested in purchasing the card. Because it's just insane. When I see it, I think that's a whole PC, 3,500 USD. In fact, this whole build right here is probably is half of the GPU, which is insane. Half of it. I am not a fan of the RT. I am not either, Ezekiel. I am all the way with you. I am not a fan of the 50 series. I don't know what they were thinking. They must have had a heck of a time smoking it up when they thought this up. They were probably all partying when they thought of this 50 series because they felt that they're on top of the world and that they could do whatever they want and nobody can stop them. And there was no quality control in this at all. You know what would be funny if they advertised it as we actually didn't do the whole research and development for it. Instead, we let our AI models do the research and development. Then, can you imagine their stock if they said that about the 50 series? You would have investors really question the 50 series then and say, wow, is their AI model really that great? Have you played Demon's Souls on PS5 and ever wondered why any other PS5 games do not look as great? Yeah. You know what's funny? I think the same exact way. And yeah, 4,000 for a GPU is quite insane. And that's the thing. Like, you have games like Demon's Souls that get released, but if it comes out on PC, they're going to require the minimum RTX 3080. Watch. You'll see Demon's Souls, the remake for RTX 3080 as the minimum. And then for the for the top specs, it's going to say RTX 4090 or RTX 5090. And that you have to have a 4K resolution for 120 frames, just say. That to enjoy the game fully with path tracing, because that's what they really sell is the path tracing too. And how the transformer models are able to generate the frame generation, because again, that's what they really brag about. And the funny thing is, everybody out there who has a RTX 4090, I don't know if you tried it, Ezekiel, yet either, but have you tried doing any type of frame generation? And what do you personally think of frame generation? Anybody out there that has tried frame generation? Because I feel that it's a bit of a, I wouldn't say really great. You definitely get more frames, but you do see some weird things when you do some frame generation. In fact, when I was playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black with frame generation, even though a game like that, you shouldn't really require much frame generation, especially that the game's, almost 20 years? No, it is 20 years old. The game's like 20 years old, but it's on Unreal Engine 5. That's why they required much more higher specs for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. But with frame generation, you can notice weird things, such as ghosting, because if you're in an action movement with Ryu Hayabusa, when you're doing his fights or whatever, then you can notice the glitchiness. Yes, they are smoking. Yeah, they are smoking good AI drugs. They certainly are, because they probably asked them, what is the best? Make me the best formula, and let me know so I can try it out. And they probably really did it. That whatever that formula was. But frame generation has certainly been kind of weird, or been really funky for the most part, because I noticed like weird spikes, like when you're moving around, like if you're running around or jumping, you'll see like a quick spike, and then it kind of goes back. Or if you're in a fight, then you'll see some ghosting. Yeah, I agree. Consumers want GPUs that are like the 1080 Ti. True. Raw performance has been replaced with software solution for FPS. Exactly. It is 100% marketing. Everyone does frame generation these days, even FSR4. Yes, they do. They all do frame generation, but it's definitely an option. You could turn it off if you'd like, because you know what's funny? On Monster Hunter's Wilds, if you benchmarked it, you'll notice, just try it. You'll notice if you have frame generation on with the RTX 4090s, because everybody who has RTX 4090 can try this, and let me know if you get the same result, that try it with frame generation first. You'll notice you'll get more frames, but the score is definitely different from when you have frame generation off, because when you have frame generation off, you'll actually get lower frames, but the score is much higher. So you get 40, I think it's like 40 extra frames, and you get better frames because of it, but the score is much lower. Maybe it's because it's requiring so much software in order to be in the game, such as the whole frame generation, so you don't get as high of a score, but it is a bit insane. And the same thing with, I'm curious about this, how this whole FSR is. But to see the differences, why I have a little bit more faith when it comes to AMD, is because with their charts, at least when it comes to their charts, they actually show some raw power. But then when you see NVIDIA's charts, have you ever seen any of their 50 series charts with raw power at all? Because it mostly seems that they're showing all with DLSS 4, or all with frame generation, or all with whatever that they choose to put on the card. There's none without any type of software use at all. No raw power at all. But when it comes to AMD, they're not afraid to show the raw power, even though they know that they're going to score lower. For sure, it's going to be score lower than an RTX 5090. We all know this. But again, who in the right mind is going to spend $3,500 to $4,000 USD on RTX 5090? It almost becomes worth it if you go with the budget Threadripper build, using a dual 480 Super or a dual 9070 XT cards instead of an upper end 9950 X3D or an X870E. And yeah, I do agree, because Threadrippers are quite a monster. Actually, you believe it or not, the machine that I use for creating content, I actually use the Threadripper. It's an older one. It's the 3790, I think it is. 30. 770. I forget exactly which one. It'll come back to me when I think of it because I got all these numbers mixed up. But it's quite still the beast as 64 cores and 128 threads. And I still use it to create content. And it's definitely worth an investment. And I could see that because that makes more sense. But on a gaming rig to spend so much, it's quite insane. So it almost... That's funny, damn, Joe. How much money you have. So FSR 4 quality mode not looking so bad though. What do you think? FSR 4 has definitely improved over time because if you've seen FSR 3, it's quite a mess. And I've experienced it because I have tried it on like the ASUS ROG Ally to see how it is. And I've optimized a lot of games with FSR. And it looks great and everything, but the problem is it kind of looks distorted. It won't look as clear. It looks more jagged. It almost feels like it needs more anti-aliasing for the lines because there's no clarity. But FSR 4 does have a large improvement over that, so you can certainly see the difference when it comes to FSR 4. So, but yeah, the FSR 4 should be excellent in it. And the same thing with, I always mention the AFMF, which is my favorite, which is the motion flow when it comes with these. The whole anti-lag it also has built in. And the really wonderful thing about AMD is that the Adrenaline software has improved quite a bit. Because NVIDIA, have you noticed too, now this is everyone who has an NVIDIA card this applies to. Everybody with the NVIDIA card, have you noticed that since they updated to the new NVIDIA app, it's just been crazy. It's just like the drivers haven't been great. The software doesn't always update like it should. And that there's a lot of issues when it comes to just NVIDIA's app, period. Same thing when it comes to even NVIDIA's overlay. And when it's not even on. But you can notice the reduction of performance when you're gaming. And you have to turn off certain settings for it not to reduce the performance when it comes to gaming. I don't blame you, Ezekiel. Switching to AMD, it's a wonderful card. It really is. And I really hope AMD does go high-end because I feel that they can definitely sway a lot of NVIDIA users, including me. I wouldn't mind updating to AMD if I could. And especially you can go a full AMD build. It would be nice. And it's something that they've always talked about, which is having the infinity cache. Of course, you got the processor that has the infinity cache, but allegedly, again, it could be marketing and everything, and something has to be tested. But when you use a AMD card with AMD processor, it has its own infinity cache, which is also would be nice to have, which would be really great on performance, especially for the clock speeds that the RX 9070 can do, the RX 9070 XT can do, which is well over 3 gigahertz. It's quite amazing if you really overclock it. You could even overclock it more than that, which is and it's undervolted, so you're actually performing less voltage, but you're getting amazing clock speeds out of this card. Now I'm curious about how the memory clock is, because I know the memory clock I think was the one where it has the different issues with it. But with this AMD card here, it's funny. I'll show you how that backplate is. Actually, I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be hard to show you actually. I'll flip it around like this, so that way you guys can see. So that way you can get a better angle at it. But when you flip it around just like this nice magnet plate where you hide the cables, you can see, like, you could actually, like, if you look at the board, I wish I could flip it, but this card's so heavy, I'm afraid it's gonna put a lot of pressure on the board. Or matter of fact, I could maybe hold it up like this. I don't need leverage to work on me now, right? But if you see it, you can see where you can route the cables back here, which is nice. So you can really hide them, and it won't be in front of the PC case. Now the best part is you can use this this magnet's really easy to take off. You just pop it off if you want to. Yeah, I can't wait to see it too. I'm really excited for it. You can just take it off here. So if you already have it in the PC and you have everything set, it's really easy to. Now, of course, I'm kind of nervous taking it off, to be honest, because that's what I don't need. Maybe it's hard to take off like this. Oh, you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. Just to let you know, if you do put on the back plate, this Q release gets in the way, which is what's preventing me from pulling the plate off. So if you choose to put the plate, you just have to hold the Q release down, and you should be able to take it off without issue. There you go. And then you just got to push it back in, make sure it's engaged. There you go. Yep. So just be careful. It's a good thing I did this while it was out, because now I know. Because if you choose to get a B850 just like this, just watch the Q release. If you have backplate and you choose to go to the Sapphire Nitro Plus, just pop it off just like that. This will go back into its envelope here. And I bet you know, I was really thinking of going to Micro Center today, but I had to get home as well because I had to make sure that I got the package. Of course, I come back home and the package looks like it got ran over by the UPS truck and wasn't in the back of the truck, because it's funny because it looks like they literally ran it over. Just take a look at the box. Anybody would have a heart attack seeing this in their front step there. Because doesn't that look like UPS ran it over with the truck? I was supposed to. Could you? It's blocking a lot on my mobile screen. Oh yeah, sure. You know what? How about this? I got you. I'll go up to the stream up there and I'll take care of it. I'll make it a lot smaller for you guys because I feel like it's a bit crazy in the mobile screen too. Let me see. You probably see it moving around now. Moving too much stuff. Let me move it. I'll try to do this. Do you guys just want it gone? I can just completely remove it. Seems like a bit of a pain. There we go. That's a lot better, right, guys? I was going to leave the chat log up there and try to shrink it and everything, but I got to figure a way to modify it, maybe change the opacity so that way you guys could see each other's chat. But I'll just, of course, I can always read off the chat, and hopefully it doesn't get in the way of the vertical live as much either. I mean, not the vertical. Does it? I'm glad it helped. But yeah. So as I was saying, hopefully you guys were able to see that. Were you guys able to see that performance about the backplate? How you got to take it off? If there's a Q release, when you pull it off, you just have to make sure to push that Q release and pull off the plate. Otherwise, it can damage your Q release. You don't want that to happen. And it's easy to move. You just push this down and you can pull it up. Just like that. And you see, no damage is done. I'm glad that helped you out, guys, there. And no damage to the gold fingers. Right? Really? You know what's funny? I always thought California was like the tech hub, so I would always assume that California would have more micro centers than anywhere. Because I know they have one in Tustin. I'm not too sure. I'm not too familiar with the other areas of where they would have it in California. We honestly just got lucky down here because our micro center is relatively new. They just built that micro center just last year. It opened up in August, I think it was. And if it wasn't for that, the closest micro center that we have here, and I'm on, yes, it is heavy. There is sag on the card, so make sure to put the bracket on that it comes with. But it's decent. But at least the material's decent, I gotta say. But the closest micro center that we have here, and I'm all the way in South Florida, and the closest one would be in Georgia. I think it's close to Atlanta. And from here to Atlanta, Florida is a big state. So by the time for us to even get up there, it would be like a 7-hour road trip to try to get to a micro center. It would be ridiculous. So it's a very good thing that they opened up a micro center in Miami. Thank God. Because if they didn't, would have to go all the way to Georgia in order to get something. Can you imagine trying to get an RTX 5090 and then you try to go grab one? You try to go grab a RTX 5090 all the way in a place like Atlanta, and then you see these guys standing out there knowing that they're not gamers, because you can just clearly tell that they're trying to that they're just trying to scalp them away, which is ridiculous. But anyway, you go up there and you can't even get a 5090. Imagine how pissed you would be driving 7 hours away. So Ezekiel said that there is a micro center an hour away from him, and I think he's also in South. Good luck, Chris, and enjoy the 9070 over and out. Yeah, no problem, Cucumber. I'm glad you joined in. Don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to join the giveaway. Hopefully everyone in here knows about it. If you don't, if you want to find the giveaway, I also have it on my post, and I also have it on my latest B850 motherboard video. It's also posted in the comments. It's pinned, so you can go and enter that giveaway. But thank you for joining, Cucumber. They have been saying that since last year. There's one coming to California soon, but no news since. So hopefully you guys do get a micro center soon, because that's kind of how many micro centers? Do you know how many micro centers there is in California total? How many is there as in total? Is it about, I would assume there's at least 3, right? I would think 3, because California is also a large state. You would think there's one probably close to like the Bay Area, like towards San Francisco. At least you would think they would have one around there. I know there's one in Tustin, which is closer to the LA area, and I guess maybe North California. That's just my guess. But hopefully they definitely have more. I know we need at least one more micro center here, because okay, yeah, that's what I figured too, the one in Tustin. San Diego. Yeah, nice. It's funny too, because they need to have another micro center in the one over, I feel like, towards like Orlando. Orlando would be also a great area for micro center to build, because if they do, they have a lot of northern Floridians that can go up there too, to be able to purchase all their PC parts, because Orlando to Miami is quite the drive. It's quite a far drive. If they tried to come down here, it would be like like almost like a 3.5-hour drive at least to get to Micro Center. And San Diego, yeah. But the funny thing is, so if you do get this motherboard, it kind of blends well, right? You have this is how it looks. Oh, let me scoot over here. Go over here. So many different boxes. How's that? Quite the match, right? And they just go really well together, I think. So they used to be at Fry's Electronics. I loved Fry's. Do they still have Fry's anymore, or are they not there anymore? Because Fry's used to be the place. I used to like that place a lot better than Best Buy. Best Buy was, and Circuit City, same thing. Tustin and coming soon, Santa Clara. Oh, okay. That would make sense over there. Yeah, Fry's was amazing. But I can't... Yeah, that's right. I think I read something in the news about them closing down Fry's. That's such a shame because they are legendary. Honestly, I feel that Best Buy is kind of headed there too, because have you been to Best Buy's PC section? It's just terrible. It's so bad. I thought so. I remember reading about it 4 years ago. Wow. That's a shame. You know, the funny thing is, I feel Best Buy is headed in that same exact direction. I feel like GameStop will even outlast Best Buy because it's funny because when you really think about it, Walmart's PC section is even better than Best Buy's. It's pretty sad. Aesthetics are looking good there. I agree. They look excellent, right? And I haven't showed you the cooler yet, which I will show you because I got to put this motherboard back. And look how balanced it is. I actually trust having this GPU set up like this. But I know it would be scary to knock it down because that would be my luck. And I usually knock stuff down when I'm displaying it. Yeah, I agree. Best Buy is not friendly. And you know what's the worst part too, Ezekiel, when you go to Best Buy? Is that they pretend not to see you. They know you need something. You're looking at something through glass. How do you not need something? Are you going to open up the glass? I feel Best Buy is ridiculous. There's been times like where I actually wanted to buy something, but because how bad their customer service is, I chose not to buy from them. I was like, you know what? I'll just wait to get it through Amazon, or I'll wait to get it online instead because I can't deal with them. Best Buy is better than nothing for me since no micro. I can understand. If you have no choice, I had to go to Best Buy for a while here before they actually came out with until they came out with the Micro Center. So it was it was torture going there. It was torture going to Best Buy. I had to do it in order to get there, but it's just, I feel it's so antiquated anymore. When you go in there, they don't even want to sell physical games anymore. And all the hardware that they have, all the PC hardware that they have is out of date practically. It's almost like a generation behind nearly. Like if you go into Best Buy, you're definitely not going to find a 9600X. You'll find maybe a 7600 or 7700 or a 70. And you'll see those, but you won't see anything new. But hopefully that they have a Best Buy soon close to you, Plano. I hope that they do build it soon because it's funny. It came out of nowhere. They said that they were always going to build at Micro Center. It was always rumored here, but for them to actually finally do it, once they actually put up the sign, it was a big relief. And the funny thing was, it was supposed to open last year in 2024 March, but they delayed the opening all the way till August. So we kind of thought they had this whole attitude of like, oh, it's going to get done when it gets done type of attitude. But when it finally opened, oh, it was such a relief. It was a large relief. I was so happy when they did. But hopefully that Micro Center does open up soon. Let me show you the cooler real quick. So here is the ASUS LCD ARGB LCD cooler. It's actually a really good deal, believe it or not. For just 360 cooler, it's only 150 USD. That's pretty amazing, especially it's a full AIO, and it even has a LCD screen. Down here, it's about 2.8 inches. And luckily, again, ASUS provided us with this. thankfully. And same with the board as well. They did provide us with the motherboard, but the PSU is still yet to be delivered yet. But that's okay, because we can always go to the Micro Center and get one. I don't know how Micro Center does their calculations for store placements, but they need to overhaul that formula. They did the same delay in North Carolina, but they... Oh, no. Really? That's the worst. They chose the wrong city to put the Micro Center. Why would they... It's... You know what's funny? I remember... It's kind of the same way. Even in Pennsylvania was like that, too, even. In Pennsylvania, they did the same thing where they have a Micro Center far away from the city. I think it's like 40 minutes away. It's the same exact way. I don't know why they think that, but they certainly do. And if they plan on expanding anymore, hopefully they have somebody that knows their geography. Same thing in Europe, if they do decide to branch out. If I was Micro Center, I would definitely go out to Europe as well, because they could certainly take up a very decent market if they did out there. But it would be pretty awesome if they did, because then they can certainly open up a lot more stores for sure, and they could be that super center. And I've always liked Micro Center because they're always willing to step out and be willing to help. Sure, it might be because they can get the sales and everything for it, but at least every person that I've dealt with Micro Center, I have never dealt with anyone that seemed like that they didn't feel like working that day. It seems almost like they all have a passion for it. What's going on, Unknown? Welcome to the stream. For anyone who is just joining in, I just want to let you know, I'm Chris Mizo here. I usually talk about PC and tech. And right now we just went over this wonderful RX 9070 XT. And if you love PC and tech, make sure you join and subscribe and join this wonderful fan band. And also make sure to give it a thumbs up as well. Malik brand. Is that how I say it? Malik brand. Their staff is A+ all the way. Agreed. They are the top tier guys. They seem that they're very passionate about what they do. And the best part is they're not trying to upsell you all the way, because even when I went to go purchase, when we were at the store and we saw a SanDisk NVMe, it was at $64.99. Malik brand. That's the best I can do for you, Unknown. But yeah, they care, because I went to go try to purchase the SanDisk NVMe, and when I went to go get it, I got the P3 Plus, and when I get they actually led me to this, because again, it's PCI Express 4, and it was at the same exact price, which was insane, because it's, again, they usually have it at $84.99, and they said you can get a much better deal if you just go with this one. So that's what we did, because the other one we would have received would have been PCI Express 3, and I was going to get that model because it was only $49.99 for that NVMe, but in order to get the P3, it was only $64.99, so it's only a little $15 extra to get it. So we decided to opt in for it because it makes more sense, especially in this generation. Again, PCI Express 5 doesn't matter as much, so we chose to opt in. But anyway, the point was that Micro Center is excellent at what they do, and they 100% have full passion of what they do. No problem, Unknown. Anytime. But I'm excited for this build. I'm sure all of you are excited for the build. And make sure, for anyone that is just joining in, just as Unknown, make sure to go and join the giveaway, because I want to personally thank all of the fan band for being part of the fan band. You can have a chance to win a Samsung 990 Pro 1TB with a heatsink, and also you can have a chance to win some merch. So definitely join the giveaway. It's, if you're trying to find the link, it's going to be on my latest video, which is about the motherboard here, which is the B850. And I'm not pointing at the GPU, but the motherboard box that it's lying on. But definitely join it, and hopefully all of you have luck winning it. But it's certainly... Oh, almost dropped that. These are the cables that it actually came with and everything, and the bracket. So if you are thinking about trying to get the Sapphire, make sure to install the bracket for it. And unfortunately, that's already for me. I already gotta end up closing up this stream. If I do decide to stream and go to Micro Center, I will definitely let you guys know. And please join the Discord, because I love talking to you guys out there. If you're looking for the Discord channel, it's also on my YouTube page as well. You can also go to the website, which is just chrismizo.com. I have all my social links on there as well. And please join the free giveaway, because I hope you get the chance to win the Samsung 990 Pro. And there's definitely going to be more giveaways coming up, especially when we get more product in. So personally, I want to thank everybody for joining in. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and everything. And for anyone that is into PC and tech, make sure... there's my dog. If you're wondering what that noise is, he's trying to scratch up the floor. For some reason, he started to... yeah, no problem, Ezekiel. I thank you for joining. I really do. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't, or follow me if you're watching on Twitch. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo. I'm going to be signing out. And guess what, Ezekiel? I'm going to go grab some coffee just like you are, because I am dying of some caffeine. But thank you, everyone.